Yeah, exactly. They're like, wait, I'm only in there for 3 seconds.
Hey, but you know what? That is an IMDb credit, and that is more IMDb credits than I have. So there you go.
There you go. Hey, next one we got to get you in the handler too, man. We'll get you in there.
That sounds good. I'll show up. You can punch me in the face, and that'll be it. Hey everyone, this is David Stark from Watcher Pass, and today I'm joined by Chris Levine from The Handler, which is already out. It came to DVD, digital, and on demand on December 7th, 2021. We're going to talk to him in just a second, but first, let's check out the trailer. And while you're watching, if you can like and subscribe to this channel, that would be fantastic. It helps me out a lot. Thank you.
Stop bringing the war home with you. It's over.
That was my last job, and then I'm gone, right?
Last job?
Okay, more's coming. I need time.
I don't know how much I got.
Ryker works for me.
What is he doing? What has he gotten himself into?
He's way in over his head.
This isn't on me. This is on you.
Do you have any idea what he's capable of?
You should have put a bullet in my head like Vinnie would have wanted you to.
Hey, Chris.
Hey, how you doing?
Doing well. How are you?
Good. Thanks for having me, man.
Of course. Thanks for signing on. So this is Chris Levine. He plays Ryker Dune in The Handler, which released already on DVD, digital, and on demand on December 7th, 2021. It's an action movie set in LA, and Chris does a lot of fighting in a black tank top, so I decided to dress up like you for the interview.
Where's your dog tags? Where are your dog tags?
Yeah, I lost them. They got pulled off when I was fighting some people.
Right. That's funny, man.
So I'm glad
You look good.
I'm glad that you do own a shirt. I mean, I wasn't sure. Maybe all you have are tank tops. I mean, look, if I looked like you in that movie, I'd probably wear tank tops as well. But I'm glad you have full clothes. You look great. So let's get started.
Yeah, let's get started, man.
So I guess the first question is, how did you get involved in this movie? Had you worked with a director before? Did this kind of come across your desk? I mean, it's an interesting action movie. It's kind of an indie film set in LA, and I don't know if maybe that's where you're based or something you were looking for. But yeah, just how did you get involved in this?
Yeah, sure. The director, Michael Rossi, and we've known each other for a few years. We originally met during the premiere of Anabolic Life, which is my first feature, a couple years old now. And we kind of just became friends, and we both have the same drive as indie filmmakers, and just to continue to climb to better and better projects, I guess. So we were in touch, and I've been on a few of his sets before, smaller roles, and it was COVID. So we were kind of just stagnant, nothing was really going on. And he reached out to me and said, he's like, hey, I got this idea because I have this location, and I was wondering if you'd be interested in doing this kind of film with me. And it was this whole premise of like one man protecting a bag of something and wanting out of the mob at the same time. So he was going to send tons and tons of people at you to fight. I was like, sounds good.
That sounds like good. I kind of thought of it as like an indie John Wick almost, because it's just like you against just waves and waves of people, slowly destroying your house and your life. So
it's exactly that, right? The key word there is indie, though. It's definitely the key word.
Definitely. And so I was actually wondering about that, because the house, I mean, it was a fantastic house. It was an amazing house. I was wondering if that was one of the people on the cast, or if it was just like something you're like, look, we got this house, let's just make a movie in it, which I would do as well. If I had access to that house, I'd do something. So
yeah, that's exactly what happened, right? It's actually one of his neighbors and kind of a mentor for him over the years, who sadly passed away.
Oh, wow.
And his family, who took over the home, knew that Mike was a filmmaker and said, hey, we're going to probably sell it or remodel it completely. If you want to use it, now's your chance. And immediately that's when he was like, oh, then he thought of the story and then reached out to me right after that. So yeah, it was a mentor of his that sadly passed away. But, I think it's kind of cool that he was in the film industry for many, many years as an editor. So I feel like it's kind of cool in his kind of honor that the last thing in his house was a movie.
Yeah, no, definitely. That actually fits perfectly, and I imagine that's exactly what he would want, right? Like he'd want to just kind of, if he's
Yeah.
mentoring him, it kind of a last hurrah for his house and for his legacy. So that makes perfect
Yeah,
sense.
exactly. That's what I think too.
Yeah, and did you spend some time in the house after? I mean, I guess you spent a lot of time filming, but that seems like a great place just to hang out, especially during COVID when you can't really go anywhere. Were you able to
Yeah,
spend
it
some
was
time
cool.
relaxing, or?
Very little. Like pretty much as soon as we started filming, we only shot the movie in about 10 days. So
Wow.
the 11th day we had our wrap party, and like kind of the 12th day, like 2 weeks after we started filming, the bank took it over.
Oh, wow.
And then there was like a homeless problem, and like the house is like destroyed now. It's really sad, but we had the last good part of it.
Yeah, at least it's remembered well. And yeah, I guess that's you always hear about indie filmmaking, have these really tough deadlines, budget and time constraints, but that's like a very tough deadline. They're like, this house will no longer be accessible after X number of days. So you really have to get everything
Yeah.
done right now.
Yeah, you get no pickups, no redos. You got to get it done.
Yeah. Or just really bad, like it'll be like kind of a blurred background, so you can't really tell where the person is. It'll be like a different sound format, but
Right,
uh,
exactly.
and so your character does, I think, the majority of the fighting, and you fight in a variety of ways. There's gunplay, there's weapons fighting, there's hand to hand. It sounds like this movie came together pretty quickly. How much were you able to train for this, or was this just kind of stuff that you already know from being an action movie or being in the industry and doing action films? You just kind of picked it up along the way.
Yeah, I wish I was an action guy before this. Probably would have been a little easier for me, but I had never really even thrown a punch, kind of even in real life. So when he reached out to me about this, I was like, listen, man, I have no fight experience whatsoever. I've barely been to the gun range before. So the worst case scenario, we'll have to treat it like John McClane, like more of a relatable guy who gets injured and gets hurt and tries his best. But
Mhm.
maybe he's a higher skill level than the average Joe. But he's no Arnold or Sylvester or John Claude Van Damme or anything like that. And because that was the homage that Michael wanted, was kind of like this invincible action hero that just destroyed everything. So I had to tell him, like, listen, that wasn't going to be me. And he's like, don't worry, I know where you're going to go with it, and that's why I want you to do this. You're going to bring some humanness to the character. So I have this guy, his name is Matt Erdems. He's a professional Muay Thai fighter, and you have 30 days to train with him.
Wow.
So I had 30 days, and figure this is COVID, right? So you have no gyms, like nobody's working. So I'm just on the couch playing video games and eating tacos and donuts right now,
Mhm.
and not looking very good. And so it was kind of like, oh shit. So the diet, the cardio, and then the training started immediately.
That is I mean, you were living the COVID life and then you had to get right in shape very quickly. That is a tough
Yeah,
turnaround.
tough. It hurt.
Yeah, but I mean 30 days. I mean, you should have made a video about that. That seems like a great like documentary, like the 30-day shred or something, right?
Yeah, I could have, right? It's to look that way, it's mainly diet, but for me it was the increase in cardio. My cardiovascular health was so important because on set, I was doing 3 or 4 of these fights per day.
Mhm.
So it wasn't like I had the chance to get tired. I wasn't able to rest. I had to be ready to keep going, and all that training really helped me for that aspect of the filming.
Yeah, definitely. Like you said, when you have very limited time, right? It can't be like, okay, well, that's enough for today. I need to rest. You're like, no, like we got 4 fights to do today. You got 4 fights to do tomorrow. Let's keep going.
Yeah, exactly.
And so this fighter that you trained with, did they also participate in the choreography? Because there must have been a lot of choreography for you to learn to, be able to pull this off in 12 days. Who did that? Or was it
Yeah.
kind of impromptu? I guess how did that all work out?
It was mainly Matt, my trainer. He's also the boss battle at the end of the film, that
Uh-huh.
major long fight.
Oh,
That's
nice.
him. And yeah, so he worked on Taken 2 as second unit in Turkey, because that's where he's from. And the director, we'd be on set and we'd have like maybe 3 or 4 people come in for the day that I was going to fight. And the director would be like, okay, well, we're here now. And then Matt would go, okay. And then within an hour, we'd already be rehearsing a fight for that day. So he was so able to do on the fly, create these kind of unique fights. No rehearsals really. Like it was just like he would come in, and with me, he'd be like, okay, this is what we're gonna do. Then you're gonna do this and grab this and that. And then the other actor would come in, and we just slowly rehearse it until we kind of got it as fast as possible to make it look as good as possible for the time frame. You know, we didn't have rehearsals to fine tune anything. We didn't have the resources that you normally would get. So it was like, we just got to do it. Just got to jump into it.
Yeah, I can see that the person comes in like, "Hi, I'm Chris," and then they say hi, like, "Okay, I'm gonna pretend to punch you in the face right now. Let's go." Like, just get right in.
Yeah, everybody was cool with it though. And you know, it's funny because to make a movie like this, people have to come in and be like, and be okay with the fact that, hey, you might get one punch and then I'm gonna kill you, right?
Mhm.
And like, so your ego has to kind of drop out of the way completely, because you know you're part of something bigger than just yourself. So you know, shout out to everyone involved in the film, all the actors, because you know a lot of them have decent careers themselves, and for them to kind of put that away for a second, be like, oh, I'm okay with just a short fight with Chris and then leaving for the day. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, and I think the film kind of riffs on that a little bit too. Like there are some scenes where there's like a long build up and then the fight is just over like that, or you know the person like runs
Yeah.
out with a big weapon and you know you just go up and like kick them once and then they're down. So I think the film, you know, riffs on that as well. So hopefully hopefully the people that signed up for fighting, you know, do that going in.
Yeah, exactly. They're like, wait, I'm only in there for 3 seconds.
Hey, but you know what? That is an IMDb credit, and that is more IMDb credits than I have. So there you go.
There you go. Hey, next one we got to get you in the handler too, man. We'll get you in there.
That sounds good. I'll show up. You can punch me in the face, and that'll be it.
You'll be wearing the same outfit as me, and I'll be like,
Yeah, but I'll need more than 30 days to get in shape.
yeah. I'll help you before we get you on set, man.
Perfect. That sounds good. And so the other question I was wondering, so in the with the gunplay in this, I mean, it seemed like there was a lot of CG, but you know, I guess the question I have is, how were you know with such a quick turnaround and with the short time span, like how confident were you after each scene that you got the actual like you know gun effects right? Because I imagine a lot of that stuff happened post production. So did you just kind of watch the pickups and see how it looked and make sure that you could work with it, or was it just almost like you're filming it and then just kind of have to figure out whatever, you know, everything will be fixed in post, we have to move on? Like how did that work? Because I know that there's a lot of post production that probably happened for at least the gunplay scenes.
Yeah, it was. You're exactly right on the second part. Is it's pretty much we didn't have our VFX guy on set, or our editor, so it was kind of just like, hopefully he can do a decent job with what we got, but we got to move on. It was really tough. So I think the VFX for our budget for what we were doing, I think it's not horrible. Like I've definitely seen cheesier gun effects in other films with probably bigger budgets. So I think we pulled off something there, you know, with having, you know, like I said, like usually a VFX guy would be on set and be like, hey, well, don't move the gun here, or, you know what I mean? There's a lot of things involved in that, and we didn't listen to any of those things. Yeah.
You made your I think you can tell that they're CG effects, but they're well done. I mean, they're kind of dispersed. It doesn't distract, you know, as much as you could in some other films where you can really tell and you're like, oh, that's not look very good. So yeah, especially
yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, like, I'm the type that even going into it, I said, hey, listen, if our VFX is not going to be at some kind of passable level, like I don't want sci-fi camp, you know, I want to try to stay away from that. Let's not use them. Let's keep gunplay close quarter, so like we don't have to create like the muzzle flash and stuff like that, you know. And then there was a few scenes where we added like dirt paintballs. So we would fire, someone behind me would be firing dirt paintballs as I fired the fake gun. So there was a little bit of practical mixed in with our special effects as well.
Oh, interesting. That's actually really good. That's a great idea, because then you get a little bit of a flinch and you probably get a little bit of a, you know, a poof or something when it hits.
Yeah.
But do those hurt? Because I mean, paintballs don't feel great when they hit you, and those are filled with paint. I can't imagine with the dirt.
Yeah. Nobody got hit by those. Those were just the wall. The wall was taking those only. Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense.
No.
So yeah, I imagine there's a few unexpected things that happen, but in such a quick filming time, was there anything unexpected that happened that you had to kind of like pivot to make your deadline? Anything pops out that happened during the filming?
Not specifically, you know, that we came in there knowing that like COVID was going to be a thing, right? So we did the best we could with checking temperatures and trying to keep everybody that wasn't working with masks on. I knew that I couldn't get hurt. So before each fight, I would tell the other actor, like, listen, this is not about being as fast as possible. This is between you and I now. This is about trust that we're going to build. So let's take our time. Let's be safe. I didn't want them to get hurt. And of course, there was no time for me to take a day off because I was injured, right? So there was a lot of stress in that. But that was a big thing that I pushed for, is safety first, and let's keep it slow, and then we can always speed it up in post if we had to. I did get hurt once. It was the Tyrone Magnus fight, and we used candy glass. We had a candy glass vase, but we didn't have anyone on set that used it before, and there's not like a lot of videos on YouTube on how to like use candy glass. I don't know. Have you ever seen that stuff?
I saw it in the film, I guess, or maybe I didn't. I don't know.
So Tyrone, like I get Tyrone on the couch, and then he picks up a vase and like smashes me in the face with it, and it's in the trailer too. The problem is that with candy glass, like if you just knock it over, like tap it over, it shatters, right? So you don't need impact, you don't need force. But he came full force and just smashed it across my face. So of course it broke, but all the candy glass, the sugar glass, went into my face here, and all that blood was real.
Oh wow.
So it really cut me, and we kept going, but that was the worst part. I didn't need stitches or anything like that, but it's just so close to your eye right here that like it could have gone way worse, you know?
Yeah, no, that's scary. And it's sugar, so I guess it just dissolved after, you know, the blood was there, but the
Yeah.
cuts were still there, so you got some blood.
Cuts were there. Yeah.
I don't know. That seems like a smart way to save on your effects budget, right? Just a little bit of pain, but everything is safe. It's
Yeah. No fake blood in this. It was all mine.
Oh, that is scary though, right? Yeah, like you said, it's close to your face, and it's you know, it's someone's fault. Like you didn't know how to do it, and so it just happened.
I didn't know. Yeah, exactly. So, you know, luckily. And then there was one time where one of the fighters, he's supposed to catch my kick and then pick me up and slam me onto the floor. And it was late at night. It was, you know, everybody was kind of tired and kind of just pushing for the day to finish. And we could have put a mat down, but we didn't. And so I just told him, hey, when you do this, make sure you feel me grab your arm so I can support my weight on the way down. But of course, when you know, you yell action and we're pumped and he's kicking and we're fighting and the adrenaline starts going, he didn't wait. And so he literally did the move to me, and I smacked my head against the wood floor. And I just remember my teeth clamping together and like seeing like those stars. And I kept going in the scene, obviously. But after, I was so mad because I was like that's the first thing we talked about, is you just to relax and wait. You know, there's no need for that. It's not 100% his fault. It's not like we had rehearsal time for him to feel comfortable. But those are the only two times that hurt a little.
I bet both of those scenes looked great. So, you know, it's a give and take.
Exactly.
Awesome. So I'd like to move. I call it the lightning round. They're just very light, lightweight short questions about the film. I want to see how like your personal experiences map to things that happened in the film. You can feel free not to answer any of them, but I try to keep them very answerable.
Sure.
So the first question is, in the film, you do hand-to-hand, you do weapons combat, you do gunplay. If you had to pick, what's your favorite way to fight?
I liked the hand-to-hand with gunplay, right? Like kind of the John Wick style. We didn't do much of it, but the first fight scene with Andy, you know, it's a real close quarter, and then I end up with the pistol to his chest, and just being able to move correctly with a pistol in your hand, the way kind of John Wick does it so well. There's something fun about that. It's a little bit mix of both, right? Yeah.
Well, then you got, you know, the badassness of hand-to-hand combat with just that safety net of a pistol, just in case you need it. So
exactly.
What is your go-to weapon if you had to pick any weapon to fight with?
God, I didn't use one in the movie, but it would definitely be like a shotgun, right? Like,
that's a practical one.
That's just a room clearer, you know. But it was fun using or like fake using some of the rifles, and like, you know, that's probably pretty cool using something automatic.
Yeah, definitely. And so what is your go-to fighting move? It seems like in the film there were a lot of like kicks to right to the midsection that seemed to be like your opening shot in a lot of them. Is that your go-to fighting move as well?
Yeah, you know, that's the thing I want to work on too, is like my flexibility and my kicking. It wasn't where I wanted it to be, but yeah, that front kick is a kind of a Muay Thai thing. And it's not designed to damage, it's designed to keep space. So being that our fight choreographer was a Muay Thai fighter, it makes sense that was added to my my fights every time. Almost keep that distance and then prepare for the battle. But yeah, there's something about it. As I got comfortable with those, it kind of was like almost like a confidence booster as I kicked him. You know what I mean? And then that led into the rest of the fight.
Yeah, no, definitely that makes perfect sense. And there you go. Now you have a signature move. It's perfect.
Yeah, exactly.
And you mentioned that you hadn't been to the gun range before this. I don't know. Have you been after? How's your actual shooting? How's your accuracy?
Yeah, actually, I didn't. I hadn't been since until last week. Actually, I was at a random event, and I ran across a veteran who runs this institute called the Sentry Institute, and they do concealed weapons and safety permits and things like that. And I showed him the handler and this and that. And he's like, dude, especially with what happened with Alec Baldwin, he's like, I'd love to get into the film industry with you. Let's start by me training you to be as efficient as possible with a pistol. And he took me to the range and showed me so many things that like I could have used in the movie if I would have had someone like that. But so now it's like accuracy with pistols is pretty funny how easy it is. It's about that squeezing the trigger and controlling that squeeze of the trigger. It means, you don't have to be strong or anything like that. It's, seeing, they call it the E, the upside down E, which is like the 3 like little target thingies on the top of the gun. I'm sure there's a term for them, but you line up those and then, it's that slow squeeze. It's never that anticipation of the squeeze. And within 10 yards, pretty compact firing pattern now too.
There you go. Just ready for handler 2. And yeah, you're right. It's just like, the aiming is one thing, but then you also just have that comfort, right? You can't tense up, you can't be too nervous to have everything move. So
changes everything.
There you go. Now you're ready for the next movie.
Yeah. Getting ready.
All right. So here's a scenario. Someone breaks into your house and you have to fight them. Which room are you fighting them in to have like the best fight or the most advantage?
Most advantage would probably be like a garage, right? There's so many like tools at your disposal. But like there's something about a bathroom fight, right? Like I don't want to be coming out of the shower. Fighting naked is probably not that fun in real life, but
that would have taken 60 days of practicing cutting to get right.
Like, listen, don't show none of my junk, man. I don't want none of my junk on screen. There's something intense about being in that very compact space with a lot of dangerous like ceramic around you. That'd be kind of like a intense battle in real life.
Yeah, and then you also get that, I don't know, it's such a visceral scene when you like break someone on a toilet and then like that water starts shooting up. Yeah, you're right. It's just like there's something about that where like the toilet breaks and the porcelain and the ceramic fall down and then all of a sudden the water's out. Yeah,
it's classic. Yeah,
it'd be exciting. Unfortunately, it's your house, so then you have to go find a contractor, and who can find one nowadays with the way the world is. So
exactly.
Well, this actually leads it perfectly into my next question. When was the last time you were surprised in the shower? Because your character gets surprised in the shower, or almost surprised in the shower this time. When was the last time you got surprised by, I don't know, anything? I don't know, a bug. I don't know if anything else, like a delivery person.
That's funny. Yeah, no. I always get random daddy long leg spiders.
Oh.
Right. And so like I'll just be like just chilling and like I kind of check anyways, like the corners, and then randomly I'll be like, there'll be like a big one. I'll be like, where did you even come from? And I don't kill it though. I try to like, interrupt my shower and take it outside like a humane person. But my girl always tries to like sneak in and scare me. She can't do it very well. She's not very sneaky, but she tries. So I'm kind of always on alert in the shower now, like whether it's spiders or my girl trying to scare me. You can't get me now. I'm always ready.
Yeah, I think one of those sounds more enjoyable than the other. We'll leave it to the audience to figure out which one.
Exactly.
I'm glad you're always ready.
Always ready.
Do you regularly have uninvited guests in your house or coming to your house?
No, I do not.
That's good.
Very few people even know where I live, and the select few that do know to call or text before they head over. And I don't really have a place like an open house kind of place. I've had throughout the years, but right now it's kind of about, especially with COVID, right? Like it's just about solidarity and select and keeping your circle pretty small right now.
Yeah, no, that definitely makes sense. And the last question is, this film kind of involves your character trying to quit a job. When was the last time that you actually quit a job?
Like 2 years ago, my day job.
Oh, you quit
I,
your day job.
I was kind of, I'd been doing it for like 5 or 6 years, and they were always cool with the situation of like, hey, I got to go for auditions, or I'm gone for a couple months on film sets, and they didn't do me any favors, but within pay time off and sick time and things like that, I was able to do it. But finally, I was just like, time for me to go. Time for me to go. It was a big day.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, must have been a fantastic feeling to be able to kind of like take that next step and be comfortable doing that. That's awesome.
Yeah, yeah. And are you ever truly comfortable not having that steady income? I don't think so. I come from a family of like 9 to 5 workers, since they were 18, and that's what you do. You get your day job and you retire doing that, and then you live comfortably after you retire. For me, it was always. Now it's like maybe next year might be a little tight, but I'm willing to work it out.
Well, that's awesome. And yeah, that must have been a good step. But yeah, you're right. It is a big kind of leap of faith, and you got to keep working at it. You can't just kind of just sit back and do your 9 to 5.
No chill time. Also, with movies like this, we don't make these things to get rich or richer. We make these things to just put food on the table.
Mm-hmm.
So, whenever I see people like go out of their way to kind of say negative things or anything like that, it's like, I understand when you're talking to an executive at Sony, that they're going to be fine. But when you really start bashing on indie films, you're removing food from people's plates. So something to think about.
Yeah, and also you're hurting people. They're just doing it for like the love. I mean, you like you said, you all didn't do this to get rich. You just kind of wanted to make a fun film in this situation that you had. So it's just
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
So speaking of speaking of your family, The Handler is out right now. It's on DVD, digital, and on demand. You're promoting it. What's next in the queue for you after this release? Are there other projects that you've been working on or things that you've got in mind?
Yeah, of course. You have to stay busy, right? And I'm not only an actor, but I write and produce as well. So my next film coming out is called Bad Bones. I shot it in Alaska, and it actually co-stars with me, one of the girls I fight in The Handler. And
Nice.
So what's kind of funny in my own movie universe is she doesn't die, and then we get married, we move to Alaska, and then this sci-fi thriller that comes out called Bad Bones is our story.
Your Ryker Dune's life is just very interesting. And actually, Ryker Dune is a pretty good name for a sci-fi film. So I really hope it's the same name in this next movie.
It's not, but Ryker Dune is a hell of a name, huh?
His life is very interesting. I guess he probably had to change his name to get out of the mob, to really fully get out of there. So now he has a new name going to Alaska to escape. I like this extended universe idea that we've come up with.
Exactly, I like it too. I'm gonna send you a copy of all that.
Perfect. That sounds good. Well, awesome. The film is The Handler. Like I said, it's out on DVD, digital, and on demand. This is Chris Levine. Thank you so much for your time.
Thanks for having me, man. Take care.
Awesome. Thank you. That was Chris Levine, who plays Ryker Dune in The Handler, which is already out. It's available on DVD, digital, and on demand. It's an independent action movie where Chris fights a lot in a black tank top. If you like this interview, please like and subscribe to this channel. It helps me out a lot. Make sure all my new content goes straight to you. And please check out my other content. I've got other interviews, movie reviews, unboxing videos, and weekly movie recommendations. Thanks so much.